Hey guys, I'm doing this video for the civil rights lawyer. He's got a channel and he does very good work, and I saw this video and I was totally blown away. I knew I had to share it for you guys because it's educational. Now, I know we live in the age of information, and I believe that at this point we really don't need lawyers if we know how to educate each other and ourselves, but we're still not there yet. And the reason I say this is because out in California there was an attorney who supposedly was here to help people, and he wasn't even an attorney, his wife is. All they really were doing was just snitching on people, getting them in trouble, and just turning this community upside down. When I seen this channel, I knew that this guy was onto something, and I knew that you had to go subscribe to him because we need to educate ourselves. We need to learn what's going on, and we need to learn how to protect ourselves and our human rights. So check out the Civil Rights Lawyers channel. Let them know San Joaquin sent you. I'll see you guys over there. Thank you.
Hi, I'm West Virginia civil rights lawyer John Bryant, and this video is about a client of mine named Matt. In March of 2019, he was hanging out at his house, minding his own business, and a friend of his stopped by. It just so happened that this friend had a warrant out for his arrest. Matt didn't know it. So while he's at Matt's house, some police officers see that this guy who had an arrest warrant out for him has his car parked out in front of Matt's house. Now understand that Matt had no arrest warrant out for him. He was suspected of committing no crime. He had done nothing wrong. Just this guy was at his house. So one police officer calls another, and now there's multiple police officers that show up at Matt's residence. And that's when Matt realizes that the guy, his friend, his old friend who's at his house, is wanted by the police. They're looking for him. And a situation develops. The guy doesn't want to go outside. The police are pounding on the door. So this raises the question, well, what happens when the police have an arrest warrant for somebody, but the guy is at a third party's residence, and that third party is not subject to any arrest warrant or search warrant?
One of the things that I like about this channel right away is that he asks questions and then he answers them for us. Pay attention. Keep watching.
Can they enter the home and get the guy? Can they search and seize the structure? Can they go in without getting a search warrant first? Here's the video.
Yo.
Come on. Throw out here.
I haven't done anything. I don't know what's going on.
Throw out here.
Huh?
Shut the fuck up. Throw out. Hands and knees. Come on.
I haven't done anything.
Is anybody else in here?
No, sir.
Okay, well, come on out.
I don't know what's going on.
Keep coming.
What'd I do?
We'll let you know in just a second.
Yes, sir.
Don't fucking listen.
I'm sorry, sir. I'm sorry. I didn't
Get the fuck out
mean.
of the goddamn house. You get the fuck out of the house.
I'm sorry. I didn't
Nobody
understand.
else in here?
No, sir. I'm sorry. I don't know what I've done. Oh, my head. Oh,
Everybody show your hands now.
oh, my head.
So, can the police enter the home of a third party who's not suspected of doing anything wrong, who does not have an arrest warrant nor a search warrant against them? Can the police enter that guy's home, Matt's home, because they have an arrest warrant for a guy that's inside his house? Can they enter? This was answered all the way back in 1981, when I was 1 year old probably, by the United States Supreme Court in a majority opinion written by the famous Justice Thurgood Marshall, who wrote on behalf of the court that the police cannot enter the residence of a third party just to arrest somebody who's inside that house because they have an arrest warrant for that person. They either have to get a search warrant for that house of the third party to enter, or they have to have some other exception to the warrant requirement, such as consent of the owner of the house or the resident of the house, or exigent circumstances. As you can see in the video, my client Matt did not consent to law enforcement entering his house, to making him crawl on his hands and his knees, nor to them bashing him in the back of the head, cutting his head open, nor to putting him in handcuffs, taking his phone, turning his phone off. He didn't consent to any of that. They also would be hard-pressed to prove that there were any exigent circumstances. In other words, that there was an emergency that they had to immediately go in the house. It wasn't a chase that chased somebody into his house. They knew he was there ahead of time. They called for additional police, and they just forced their way in. This is what happens when law enforcement has absolutely no concern for whether they're complying with the Fourth Amendment, with the Constitution, with the rules set forth by the Supreme Court of the United States. I mean, hell, this has been a rule since I was 1 year old, and I've been practicing civil rights law for about 15 years now. So there's really no excuse for not knowing. And in fact, more important than not knowing is probably the concern that they didn't care. So if you have any information on this case, and where this occurred was in the western end of Greenbrier County in a little spot called Charmco, which is an unincorporated town in western Greenbrier County. And it primarily involved a Raynell Police Department officer. And then you can see a state trooper that comes up and sees that the client was filming, and he turns off the phone. If you have any information on this or similar cases, please call me. My contact information is on the website, thecivilrightslawyer.com. Thank you for watching. And also, thank you, my little videographer, Miss Toka, aka Jillian.
Attorneys are so damn freaking expensive. I think it's a lot cheaper if we figure out how to educate ourselves. But at this point, like I said, I don't think we're ready to go into the courtrooms and use the terminology that they use to be able to keep our human rights intact. But for now, there's channels like this, the Civil Rights Lawyer, who actually seems to be wanting to help people by sharing information and giving us answers. So with that, I gotta say I respect this channel tremendously. And yeah, you guys go subscribe to his channel. Let him know I sent you. I'll see you guys over there. Thank you.